The following is the same presentation that was given by Richard Cooper at the Entomological Society of America annual meeting held in San Diego in December 2007. The findings of this preliminary study suggest that encasements that are being marketed for the use with bedbugs are not all equally effective, and that further research on this subject may be warranted. Some of the images contained within this presentation were not taken during the actual study.
The purpose of my presentation today is to examine the use of mattress and box spring encasements as an important non-chemical advancement in the control of bedbugs, as well as to review the results of a study that examined the effectiveness of encasements at preventing the escape of bedbugs. Given the fact that the majority of bedbugs are in fact associated with sleeping areas, it's very important that we have effective methods for dealing with beds that become infested. Currently, there are a number of different ways that people are dealing with infested beds. Perhaps the most common method is to simply discard infested bedding. And because the majority of bugs are in fact associated with the bed complex, there are clearly advantages associated with doing so. However, there are also some obvious disadvantages associated with this method. For example, most people are typically not very careful in the way they discard the bedding. So as a result, bed bugs are commonly dispersed throughout the structure as these beds are being hauled through the structure to be discarded. And once discarded along the curbside or by a dumpster, they're often picked up by some unsuspecting party and then transferred to another dwelling, just further perpetuating the spread of bed bugs. And finally, because bed bugs aren't limited to just the bedding, but can be found in many other parts of the structure, when people bring in brand new bedding to replace the bedding that has been discarded, it's only a matter of time before the infested or the new bedding becomes infested as well. And then that brings up the obvious question of how many beds can someone continue to throw away? As a result, an alternative is to treat the mattress and the box spring with pesticides. There are a number of pesticides that exist that are labeled for liberal application to mattresses and box springs. But just because these pesticides are labeled and legal to use doesn't necessarily make it the most appropriate practice, especially when you think about the fact that people spend nearly 8 hours a day sleeping in their beds. That means that they're spending about a third of every day in close proximity to a treated surface with nothing more than a thin sheet between them and the pesticide-treated mattress. It's even more difficult to justify the use of pesticides on bedding when you look at the effectiveness of the products that are currently available today. This is research from the University of Kentucky. And what they found is that high levels of resistance existed in a number of field populations of bedbugs that they tested. In fact, 14 out of 16 field populations that were sent to them from various parts of the country showed several hundred to even several thousand-fold resistance to pesticides that are used today, suggesting that perhaps these pesticide resistance is maybe more prevalent than we previously believed. And in a recent article in Pest Control Technology, they indicated that while our pesticides may be effective on susceptible bugs that are directly treated, the effectiveness of these chemicals once they have dried is questionable. As a result, it appears that the use of pesticides is most effective when applied directly to the insect. But it hardly makes sense to spray a bug that you can physically see when you can just as easily remove or destroy the bug through non-chemical measures. As a result, we have seen the use of vacuums become a very popular method for removing large numbers of bugs and eggs as well. However, vacuums are not the best method for eliminating bugs from within cracks and crevices, simply not having enough suction power to remove the bugs that are clinging inside the cracks. Nor is it a very effective method for removing eggs that have been cemented to the substrate, like these eggs that you see here that are cemented to the wooden framework inside of a box spring. There are other mechanical methods, such as steam or rapid freezing technology in the form of the cryonite system, that can overcome some of these obstacles. The steam and the freezing technology will not only kill bugs on contact, but it will also provide some penetration, killing bugs or eggs that are in exposed cracks and crevices. But all of these methods are contact kill only, and they are very, very time-consuming. Not only that, inevitably, while they may be effective at destroying and eliminating large numbers of bugs and eggs, some bugs and eggs are likely to escape these efforts within the complex architecture of the mattress and the box spring. Here you see an example of the box spring and all the different places that bed bugs and eggs can escape these efforts. Or inside of a mattress that's ripped or torn, or has holes for breathing, or to house the handles. All these places are areas where bed bugs and their eggs are likely to escape the mechanical efforts. As a result, we've seen in the last year the emergence of mattress and box spring encasements as a very effective method for dealing with mattresses and box springs. There's a number of reasons why encasements have become so popular. First, encasements may be the most effective proactive measure available for people that are concerned with the possibility of introducing bed bugs into their homes. By encasing a mattress and a box spring, in the event that bed bugs are introduced into the structure, they'll be unable to physically infest the interior of the mattress or the box spring. In addition, the encased mattresses and box springs help aid in the early detection of bed bugs by restricting the movement of the bed bugs to the exterior of the encasement. And as you can see here, these are the typical signs of a bed bug infestation, what's commonly referred to as spotting, which is the excreted, deposited, digested blood. And it's much more readily detected on the exterior of the encasement versus if it were inside that complicated box spring or inside of the mattress where it goes completely undetected. Encasements are also a very effective method for reacting to existing bed bug infestations. There are many people who just can't emotionally deal with the idea of keeping a mattress that's been infested, such as this one. So they're going to discard the mattress no matter what. However, remember that bed bugs are still in other parts of the structure, and when they bring in that new bedding, it's only a matter of time before the replacement bedding also becomes infested. So by taking the replacement bedding and encasing it upon the introduction into the environment, bed bugs that are continuing to migrate to the bed will be unable to infest the interior of the mattress and the box spring, protecting the replacement bedding, protecting the investment. Not everyone can afford to throw away bedding, and in this case, the mattress encasements can be used to salvage bedding that's already infested. Ideally, first, the majority of eggs and bugs are removed through physical measures like vacuuming. But as I mentioned before, it's likely that some of these eggs or bugs are going to escape these efforts. So by encasing the mattress and the box spring, the few eggs and bugs that may have been missed will now be trapped inside the confines of the encasements, unable to escape, where they'll eventually starve and die. Now, because there are still bugs in other parts of the structure, they will continue to migrate to the beds in search of a blood meal. And therefore, it's necessary to follow up and re-inspect the mattress and the box spring on every follow-up visit until the infestation's been eliminated. But these inspections can be extremely time-consuming because it takes a great deal of time to inspect every square inch of the mattress and the box spring. But again, once these have been encased, these follow-up inspections and services can be done much more efficiently and much more effectively because the activity of the bed bugs has been restricted to the exterior of the encasements where they're completely exposed and vulnerable and can be very readily dealt with.